Got my plasma finished. When I say finished, it's mostly done. I've got another screw I need to, the motor's in. I've got the rail, the rod is cut, the Acme thread. It is working. I got a little bit of jitter on that side, but I've been doing a lot of work with it. I just haven't had time to go back to it. Using a Harbor Freight plasma, I converted to work on this machine with a Proma torch height controller. I did initially, I switched this system out to using the Lennox CNC, and I'll be straight up with you, it was really cool. I really liked it. It was a little bit, all my degrees other than one are all in IT, and I'll honestly say that from an IT perspective, Lennox CNC was the bomb. I will say, as far as using that Proma torch height controller and everything else, I already had it working on Mach 3. I had a licensed copy. My biggest problem was just the parallel ports, trying to get stuff to work in Windows. If you notice, I've got an older compact down there. But it works great. Got a few more little bugs to straighten out on it. I got my TR3 over here. As you can tell, stuff started to accumulate on it. I got to a point where I realized I couldn't do any of the body work till the frame was finished. So that's kind of what I'm working on now. My next goal now, I've got a few more things to do on my equipment before I start on the frame. But I built my frame jig. I think I showed you that. I bought some scrap I-beam at the scrap yard here in spring in the winter. But I'm ready to go. I've got to re-level the frame because I had to move it when I brought that lathe in. But here's the machine I've been building. This is, I'm going to call it my metal muncher. This is going to be my, it's going to be kind of like a little mini Polmax. I know it doesn't really look like anything like a mini Polmax or even a big Polmax. I looked at a lot of different designs, and the one I came up with, there was a diagram, and that was it. And when I go to the link, the link's dead, but I got a really decent diagram for an idea. I'm using a cam inside the machine, which I got the picture here, trying to use the phone and that at the same time. I got 400 thousandths of lift on the cam by design, as far as the length is concerned on the machine. Oh, by the way, that's like the third or fourth thing I cut out of my plasma after I had the Proma torch height controller straightened out where I could cut. That's all 1/4 inch. I cut all that out in probably 30 minutes, both plates. So the holes took longer to drill on. I should have done those on the CNC, but I went ahead and did those in my old mill that I redone. Another piece I bought and had to put back together. But anyway, here's the cam I'm making. It's kind of heavy. My concern is when I turn it, when I start turning this cam at 1300 RPM, I think the original Polmax turns what 1200 RPM per stroke rather, or per stroke. Excuse me, not RPM, but per stroke. That this thing is going to vibrate this machine right off the bench. So because I don't need this full width here. Sorry for the vibration of the camera. I gotta get a GoPro so I can start sharing this stuff on a regular basis with you guys. But I'm probably going to split this in half and then turn the other half 180 degrees. So when it does turn, it's as balanced as I can get it. That is a 4140. Little tough to cut. That's actually the story behind the big lathe. I cut this originally. I cut it. Some of what you see I cut on my little 10-inch south bend. As you know, on a south bend, if you hit a deep cut, I don't care how good the belt is, there's a good chance it's going to throw it if it's leather. So finally I got frustrated and found that old lathe and could get it for scrap price. So that's pretty much where we're at on that. So here's the thumb dies. I designed those. These are obviously just a model so I can build the machine. I designed these thumb dies in Bobcat 32. I've got a little CNC machine I've had for a while, but it's big enough to make these thumb dies. So that's my next goal. I'm either going to do these on the CNC. This one I could probably do on my regular mill, but it probably wouldn't take that long for me to do it on the CNC. This one's going to be a little bit of a challenge because I'm going to have to use a ball mill. And it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to do that one for me. But I'll get these. I got those in there right now so I can build the machine. I designed those and printed them on my MakerBot that I rebuilt. I'm using some pretty beefy material in here. I did learn something. See those pillow blocks? Yeah, those are Chinese, I think, and they say they're 1 inch. Yeah, they're not 1 inch. It should be great if they were. I wouldn't have to take so much off my stock. They're $9.85. So just be aware, you buy those pillow blocks, and I've measured them with ID, with telescoping gauges and stuff. They're still $9.85. I don't care how I measure them, which is fine. I'm gonna have to take 15 thousandths off the shaft that I'm making for that, which is cool. But anyways, so one last thing, a couple last things I wanted to show you is my wife bought me that for my anniversary. That is an Eastwood shrinker stretcher. And then I'm like, well, I'd really like a stand, but then I like, the stand was what, 100 something bucks for one of those. So I looked at the picture and went through 3 or 4 different stands that I seen that I liked, and I kind of just made one on the plasma and welded it up. That's what's nice about having a plasma. If you got an idea, you can just kind of make it, you know. So but that's just some of the stuff I'm doing. Kind of an update. I went to an estate sale yesterday, an old tool estate sale, and I got this motor here for $10. And then I converted it. I made that stand, obviously. I found that bead roller on Craigslist really cheap, really good deal. I couldn't have bought the dies for what I paid for that. So I used my allowance, went out and got that. Everything you see in here, I bought nothing new to speak of. Even the belt was from an old collection of belts that a friend of mine's father passed away, and he was going to throw them all away, so I probably got 100 belts for free. But I made the base for this one, obviously. Anything you see in blue, I've probably, because I'm getting that paint for like $1 a can at the thrift store or recycle store or whatever. It's Krylon, so it's pretty good stuff. But I couldn't have bought the dies for what I paid for the roller. But I had to have a decent roller. I don't see how in the world people turn the crank and stand on the other end of the machine and feed the metal and do any kind of serious work. And if you're like me, getting your wife or your daughter out here to turn the crank when it's 90 degrees out in your shop, good luck on that one, right? Good luck on that one. Show you what I'm doing. That motor was a 20 RPM motor with that gear reduction box. I went ahead and brought it down. I got it down to about 10 now. I'm using a variable foot pedal off my Fordham that I have in my electronics lab. I pulled that off my, that's a variable 6 amp, 110 volt variable speed control. I'm just changing some dies out, trying to get my wife to let me redo some cabinets. Got to put some wheels on it, a few other little things, but it's ready to go. My shrinker's ready to go. As soon as I get my metal muncher, is what I'm calling it. As soon as I get it finished, I gotta, for that lathe, I've got to get a live center to finish cutting the shaft. So I gotta save up a couple more dollars to be able to afford that. But as soon as I can get a live center, I can finish cutting the shaft for this. I'm gonna try. I don't know if you can see it or not, and I hate to be bouncing the camera on there, but I have a motor. I think they call it a clutch motor. It's a variable speed. It's a 3/4 horse. It's off in this sewing machine. I've heard of other people using these for something similar to this. Because it's variable speed, I'm hoping this will work for what I want to do. If not, I'll get a 3-phase and I'll put a VFD on it. But I'm hoping this will work. 3/4, you know, for a small machine like this, one horse would probably be plenty enough. But that'll give me the speed I need, and I'll do the calculations the closer I get before I cut the pulley for the shaft over here. But I've been inspired by a lot of different people doing a lot of different things. I always kind of felt people really didn't want to see what I was doing because it wasn't really anything special. Then some friends came and it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. And I got another friend who's a machinist. And he's like, wow. To me, it's not nothing special. It's just something. It's a means to an end to make something happen for me, because ultimately I want my TR3 where I can drive it. But it is what it is. I just like tinkering out here. I've been working on my doctorate for almost 3.5 years, and I think I was losing my mind a little bit. trying to charge my batteries by doing this, and I know when my IRB is approved, I probably won't be able to be out here for a while. But I wanted to share some of the stuff I was doing. If you'd like to see me build this this mini Polmax, I've done a ton of research, and I'm not really seeing anything on YouTube where they're showing where they finished them. They look, honestly, they look a little scary. That's why I've put everything inside. Everything will be where you can't get your fingers caught, except if you got to worry about something, you just want to worry about those dies. And from the research that I've done, the dies, I've got it set up where I'm going to be able to adjust the height from the bottom and the top. So I should be able to adjust the stroke depth, as well as be able to adjust the die contact, or actually with those, it's actually the absence of. So you want the dies set the thickness of the metal, so they don't actually contact each other and destroy themselves or the machine. But if anybody's interested in seeing me pursue this instead of the TR3 for now, make a comment in the comment section, because I'm more than happy to share the journey. I'm not a machinist in any way. I'm actually I teach cybersecurity for a living. So I just grew up in a shop since I was little with these cars and machines and stuff. It's just a hobby. But if anybody wants to see me do it, I'm more than happy to do this this mini mat, pole mat, whatever you want to call it, little metal muncher for stretching and shrinking. I don't know what we'll call it, but more than happy to do this build with you guys instead of my TR3 for now. When I'm done this, then I can start on my TR3. I'll probably pop, if you guys decide in your comments, I'm gonna let you guys steer what direction I go in instead of me telling you. Let you guys steer what direction I go with my project. Obviously I'm going to do this, but whether I record it or not, it's up to y'all. But there's hardly any videos on YouTube that show you how to make one of these machines. So I thought, hey, here's a good opportunity. I'll tell you in advance if we do it, and we do it together as a team. I like that word, team. I may get all done, and it may shake so bad that I've got to redo part of it, but you'll get to go through the journey with me. So you learn from my mistakes, so you don't have to make them. So if you decide you want to build one of these, you just go build it. What had happened is there's so much damage to my TR3 that I'm having to do this. I'm having to remake a lot of it. I just don't have the money to go out. I'm obviously, I work for a school, so I don't make a ton of money. So I'm not able to just run out and buy the parts for my TR3. So I'm having to make everything, which is, is part of the journey, right? So anyways, with that said, I'm going to stop this video at 15 minutes. If anybody has any questions, if you want me to do this, show this video for making this machine, let me know. I got one other thing I got to do before that. I have over here, I acquired last year off of Craigslist cheap for pretty much a junk price. I got a peerless reciprocating saw, and I think I told you why I bought that. But I've got to do some work to it because it's not working right in order to be able to cut some stock. But I got to get on that real quick. Hopefully I can get that done in a week or so. I go back to work next week, so I don't know how much time I'm going to have. And if my IRB gets approved next week, obviously it'll be a while before I can get back to videos. But I promise, if a lot of people subscribe or a lot of people want to see me to make this metal muncher for shrinking and stretching, if I get 100 likes or 100 shares on this, I'll go ahead and do this video. And I promise to do my best to give you a video a week on it. Might not be more 15, 20, 30 minutes, but I'll give you a video a week on it. That's probably the best I'll be able to do. And it'll be forced therapy for myself to get out of the house and get away from the computer and do something that's not as much challenging in a different way, but something that clears the mind. Thanks for watching. Thanks, guys. I hope everybody's being safe with this COVID, and please be careful. If you like, feel free to subscribe and like. If you don't, thanks for stopping by.